like to welcome everyone tonight to the Board of Public Works and Safety, August 24th at 5 p.m. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the flag is ready? To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please, Carol.
Mayor Sheets,
Here.
Greg Miller, absent. Megan Sheets,
Present.
Okay, next on the agenda is the minutes from the regular meeting on August 10th.
I'll move we approve the minutes as submitted.
I'll second that motion.
roll call. Mayor Sheets, Megan Sheets,
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0. Next on the agenda is the approval of the claims for this week.
I move that we approve the claims as submitted for this evening.
I'll second that motion.
roll call. Mayor Sheets,
Aye.
Megan Sheets,
Aye.
Motion passes. Is there any public comments? Did we have a slide sheet over there? Okay. Thank you so much.
Judy.
We don't have any department reports tonight, but I asked Jason to give us a report on a couple of things. Outside of that, I don't think we have anything else at this time.
Jason, tap the bottom of it.
I think it needs tapped at the bottom.
Hello? Thank you, Mayor. The Mayor had asked me, Curtis Gilman had approached me for her in reference to Doyle Street between Clinton and Washington. And he would like to see that made a two-way street versus a one-way. Obviously, right now, it's a one-way going to the south from Washington to Clinton. I spoke with Mr. Gilman today, super nice guy. He had mentioned his complaint was, or what he would like to see is sometimes if anyone's coming westbound on Clinton, that if they want to come down the street itself the right way, they have to kind of go around Winsky's, come up Railroad Street there to Washington, and back down the street the correct way. I went down there today, looked at it several times. As you all know, there's entrances coming off of Clinton and Washington at this time. Obviously, there's no curbing going down Doyle Street, so it's basically flat ground or flat asphalt from his parking lot into Doyle Street. In looking at it, we would take down a couple one-way signs, a couple do not enter signs, and then there's actually two stop signs at that intersection of Doyle and Clinton, which they're really interested whether there's two there, so we're going to take one of those down. But I told the mayor I would look into it. I called Craig Rutledge, which he's the one that usually paints all of our lines for us. And right now, there's what I think is a very confusing set of arrows there at the intersection of Doyle and Clinton. We could take those off. They would take it. He's got a couple of different things that he uses. They won't completely get rid of them. They'll have to work on them and then basically at some point in time fade away. That's about a $200 cost to the city for that. To do that is what he gave me. My only thing with looking at it is when we were standing, me and the guys were standing on at that intersection at the Clinton Street end, people would turn into Washington Street, off of Washington Street onto Doyle, and sometimes turn right into the lane of traffic that would be going the other way if we changed. Obviously, I talked to Tom Ransom. That was made a one-way street back in 1980. So obviously, I knew it was most of my life anyway. But nobody seems to know why it was made a one-way street. Tom didn't know. He told me a name that changed it, but I don't remember who it was now. But anyway, it was 1980. I don't have any objections to doing it to a two-way. I did agree with the mayor that we don't go any further than Clinton. We don't go down to Walnut where it's going to cause a traffic issue. It's not a very wide road. You get semis start pulling off of 28 on Doyle, we have this mess. Plus we have coach kids, which I'm sure they do things outside sometimes. The Edge business is right there. We don't want people pulling into their business when they're trying to turn. So, I guess if you want, my only question would be, and we can, Megan and I would encourage you and Greg to take a look at it. I don't know if it's something you want to make a decision on tonight. Would be for him anyway. Really, it's a non-issue, I guess, in my opinion, for his parking lot, for his business, because you can come in off of Washington, you can come in off Clinton right now. I do understand what he's saying about if you want to actually go down the road, you have to go all the way around, like I said, Railroad Street onto Washington and turn right on the door, or go the other way. Obviously, you can do the same way, whichever way. But, so making it two ways, and the only other downfall is just the confusion of the drivers that have been driving it that way for a number of years. I don't think you have any problems at the intersection, but you may have, a little further in Doyle Street on either end, if you got people coming, from town on Washington, and they turn left like they would normally turn, and they turn into somebody's lane that's sitting right there. That could be a problem. But like I said, very nice man, and I understand he wants to do what's best for his business, and so I just kind of wanted to bring that to everyone's attention.
Thank you, Jason. I talked to Greg just a little bit ago, and Megan and I had some discussion on this. And I think what we're going to do is hold off and talk about it on Wednesday, because we have a planning session before we make any decisions at this time.
Sure, I think I covered everything here. Like I said, I wanted to get some cost down there. There will be some cost removing that. But it's not a lot of money to worry about really. That's kind of how I looked at it. For me, anytime we can get signs out of the yard or somewhere, that's always a good thing. But I think it's definitely something we need to talk about a little bit further as well.
Okay, thank you, Jason. Do you have anything, Megan, on that? Yeah, we'll talk about it on Wednesday in the planning session. Thank you, Jason, for checking into that. Is there any other department heads with us tonight?
Yes, I've got Bart and I think one more that's called in.
It was Chief Shoemaker.
Okay.
Mayor, if I could real quick, I meant to mention, and Ken, Aaron, you guys can't print this yet. I don't know the set in stone, but milling for paving this year is supposed to start on Friday.
Okay, good.
I am waiting for that to be told for sure. Obviously, the weather, I think, may play a factor in Andy and our talk, but we'll get something out as quick as we can. If we hear back, we definitely got to deal with it. And if we do, we'll start in the northwest section of town. So.
Okay, just kind of heads up.
I've got-
Out there, yeah.
I've got Kirby on the line.
Okay. Don, did you have anything tonight?
I do not.
Don didn't have anything. Does anybody that's on the phone with us tonight have anything? Also, it would be under the Parks Department. We had an application, and Megan, I'll let you speak a little bit on that for the neighborhood center.
Yes, this was an agenda item on our last Board of Works meeting, and it was simply to, a particular family had a reservation at the neighborhood center for early September, and we did table it because we wanted to be sure, because they were serving alcohol, that there was an understanding that they would have one uniformed police officer, Frankfurt police officer. And so with that caveat, I'm happy, not happy, I mean, I think it's appropriate that we go ahead and approve that request and that they did sign off on that application as such, and are under the understanding that it's required.
Yes. Barb, are you there with us?
Yes, I am, and they did sign that.
And they did sign off, you said, on the one that said that they could have one officer there, and it is going to be less than 100 people. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Sorry, I turned it up.
Okay.
So I'd like to make a motion that we approve that application for the activity at the neighborhood center.
I'll second that.
Roll call, Mayor Sheets.
Aye.
Megan Sheets.
Aye.
Barb, can you get with Scott and whatever your procedure is going to be to have a police officer there to make sure that we have someone in attendance at that event?
Yes, ma'am, I'll take care of it.
Okay, thank you, Bart, I appreciate it. Okay, next on the agenda is Resolution 20-10, and it's a resolution to adopt a paid parenting leave policy and to provide paid leave for certain qualified city employees. Les has worked really hard to get this together, along these, and to see what we can come up with. Caitlin, can you talk to us a little bit about that?
So for those who aren't aware, our policy hasn't been changed in a very long time. I've been with the city for 4 years and the policy has never changed, and I think Mayor Sheets has never seen a policy. Before, we only allowed new parents to have the 12 weeks guaranteed by FMLA. And if they want paid through that, then to expand the benefits that we do offer our employees. The mayor and I spoke, and actually Deputy Chief, or not Deputy Chief Shoemaker, he was one who kind of brought it to our minds anyways, was to get a certain amount of time off paid. So I did some research, I checked with the county and some other cities around that are similar to our size, and it was decided that we would do 30 days for mothers and 15 days for fathers to be fully paid by us while they're taking their FMLA leave. So it will run concurrent with those days off. And it does include parents who adopt, so.
And after that time, then they would be allowed to use their vacation, sick, or personal time. It would
Yes.
not be required, but they could.
Yes.
This is something that's become very popular, I think, in the public as well as in the private sector. And I think it was just time that we needed to upgrade our handbook to give that type of leave. So I feel like it's something that's really important. It's a benefit that I feel like is really good for our employees. Megan, did you have anything you want to say about it?
No, I appreciate the mayor being very proactive on this. I think it will be, it's an attractive benefit for our, not only our current employees and prospective employees. And just one brief clarification, as you said, Caitlin, the 15 and the 30 are consecutive calendar days, not just solo work days.
Yes.
Just for clarification, that's okay. And again, thanks to Les for putting together such a plainly written and understandable resolution for all of us to read.
Thank you, Caitlin. Thank you, Les, for your work on it. I really appreciate it. With that being said, I will make the motion to pass Resolution 20-10.
I'll second.
Roll call, Mayor Sheets.
Aye.
Megan Sheets.
Aye.
Motion passes. Resolution 20-10 passes 2-0. Did we have any other unfinished business tonight? I don't have anything. Do you, Carol, have anything for us?
Do you think we had anything else?
Okay, is there any new business for tonight? Okay. I think that's all for this evening. I appreciate everybody coming. And Megan, would you like to make the motion to adjourn?
So moved, Mayor.
I'll second that.